Some intermittent fasting rules you should never break, but there are other intermittent fasting rules that were really made to be broken, especially if you're looking to achieve a weight loss or belly fat loss goal. Today, we're diving into those intermittent fasting rules that you should break. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance. On my channel, I talk a lot about intermittent fasting and the tools you can use to achieve your weight loss and wellness goals. And the first intermittent fasting rule you should be breaking is to not have anything during your fast. This is the common understanding of intermittent fasting. You only have water, maybe black coffee or unsweetened tea during the fast. And this is often called a true fast. And there is definitely a case to be made for some people sticking with a true fast or eventually even building up to that. But here's the thing, true fast in the beginning might not actually be the best option for you, especially if you have some underlying insulin resistance. One of the main perks of intermittent fasting is that it has been studied to help improve insulin resistance, which in turn specifically helps turn on fat burning and helps to reduce belly fat. But something that is often missed is that there is this awkward transition period for a lot of people during those first 1 to 2 weeks of intermittent fasting, and especially specifically when there is insulin resistance. And now, in case you think insulin resistance equals type 2 diabetes and so this doesn't apply to you, it's actually estimated that about 100 million Americans have insulin resistance, and this is old data that is likely a lot higher now. So if you've been having trouble losing weight with intermittent fasting, this still might be a good option for you. Now, when you first start intermittent fasting, you're eating less frequently than you're probably used to. But if you have insulin resistance, even though you're eating less frequently, your insulin levels are still likely raised during this first 1 to 2 weeks of intermittent fasting. This is because it does take time for those fasted insulin levels to come back down. And when those insulin levels are high, fat burning is turned off, which is why those who have insulin resistance tend to take a couple of weeks to actually start seeing the weight loss benefits of intermittent fasting, because insulin is still high enough to be shutting off fat burning mechanisms. Now, over time of using intermittent fasting, like that 1 to 2 week period, this does start to decrease, which then helps to unlock the fat cells. But in the meantime, we're in a bit of a predicament because the insulin levels are still high enough to shut off the fat burning mechanisms. All the energy we really have access to are those liver glycogen and muscle glycogen stores. And those we tend to run through pretty quickly in the first day or so. So people who experience this are often really hungry because they don't have the fuel their body needs and end up writing off intermittent fasting as unsustainable and quitting it. So this is where breaking the cardinal rule of intermittent fasting, where you only have water or black coffee or unsweetened tea, is not only helpful, but actually might be necessary. But we have to do it the right way, because we still don't want to raise insulin levels. That would be counterproductive to what we're trying to do with intermittent fasting. So during the fast, to help provide some level of satiety and prevent the hunger, at least until the body starts using fat as fuel better, adding in some pure fat sources during the fast can help to provide some energy, some satiety, and prevent the hunger during that awkward transition period. Now, it's crucial to be using a pure fat source. This includes things like coconut oil, butter, small amounts of heavy cream, and small amounts of half and half. Anything else from either carbohydrate or protein sources will raise insulin and therefore will break that type of fast. I personally like using keto coffee or adding in a little bit of heavy cream into my coffee to provide that pure fat source without spiking insulin. In fact, this is actually what I recommend for beginners to intermittent fasting in my complete intermittent fasting bundle. It's a really great tool that has helped thousands of men and women around the world, like Carola, Ron, and Jeanette. It provides the recipes, the meal plans, the intermittent fasting schedules to help you achieve your weight loss and wellness goals. So if you're brand new and you want that step-by-step information, it's a really amazing resource. I'll have that link down description below, but you can also find it at autumnlnutrition.com/shop. Okay, the second rule that you should break is sticking to a specific fast. This rule states that if you pick like a 16-hour fast, you are then going to set your intermittent fasting schedule to 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. as an example, where you break your fast at 10 a.m. and then you start your fast again at 6 p.m. And that should not change. But although consistency is really important and helpful for setting these new habits, if we're too rigid with it, it quickly also becomes unrealistic and unsustainable. There also needs to be that level of flexibility. And this is where I found that breaking this rule and instead using window shifting is really useful. For example, let's say Sunday through Thursday, you're having that routine of 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. But then Fridays and Saturdays is when you typically go out to dinner with friends or family, and dinner reservations don't even start until 7 p.m., which means that oftentimes you're not even done eating until 8 p.m. If you're sticking to that rigid schedule of 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., then you would never be able to enjoy those family outings, those social gatherings, those things that are still really important for life. That might make you feel isolated, doesn't provide that sense of community for you, and ultimately that doesn't foster longevity with your intermittent fasting schedule. Instead, you can reap a lot of the same benefits by just simply changing your window on the weekends. So instead of 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., you could then do your eating window of 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Yes, your fast will be a little bit longer on Friday morning, and yes, your fast will be a little bit shorter from Saturday night to Sunday morning, but the differences are so small, and at the very least, you're able to stay consistent with the shorter eating window that you're going to see those long-term results without feeling isolated from your friends and family. Okay, the third intermittent fasting rule that you should break if you're looking to achieve a weight loss goal is that longer fasts are always better. Now, there's a case to be made for longer fasts for some people, but longer isn't always better for everyone, especially if you are looking to achieve a weight loss goal and a belly fat loss goal, because one key nutrient is needed for body recomposition, which is where you're losing body fat while maintaining muscle mass, and this is protein. If you don't get enough protein, the metabolism will quickly start to decrease because the body will start to lose muscle mass. And even though you might be losing overall weight, you likely won't achieve the body composition goals of losing belly fat. And protein is incredibly satiating because every time we eat it, it causes our body to release the hormone peptide YY. This tells our brain we're full, we're satisfied, and we don't need to eat. And for most people, getting enough protein for their body's needs within like a 2-hour eating window when you have like a 22-hour fast is either impossible or so uncomfortable that it's not sustainable. So rather than always thinking that the longer fasts are going to be more beneficial, we need to balance the benefits of fasting with eating, and especially eating the right types of food. So this is where finding the intermittent fasting schedule that works best for you and your goals and your lifestyle is crucial. And for some people, that might just be a 12-hour fast, where for others, maybe it is a 20-hour fast. But the important part is finding the schedule that works for you. I've created a free quiz that helps you determine your ideal fasting length. So if you want to check that out and get a better idea of how long your fast should be, I'll have that link down in the description below. Now, there are some intermittent fasting rules that you really should never break. Make sure you don't miss those with this video right here. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love the science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out with new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.